This is the story of one man who fought an empire with love. No swords, no guns, just love. His name was Mahatma Gandhi. Our story begins in the year 1869. This was the time when the British ruled India. In this time and place, our hero was born in a small town in India called Porbandar. His birth name was Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. He was a very shy boy, but honest and simple. When he was just 9 years old, his father passed away. So his mother took little Mohan to see holy places, and she raised him with good morals. Like every mother, she wanted her son to be successful. So when he grew up, she sent him to London to study law. At first, young Gandhi felt very lonely and homesick in London, but soon he joined the Vegetarian Society and started reading many religious texts and great thinkers like Leo Tolstoy, who inspired him to become a better human being. After studying law, he returned to India in 1891. But life had other plans for him. Just 2 years later, he went to South Africa to represent an Indian client in court. At that time, South Africa was a very racist country, and when Gandhi arrived there, he saw Indians being treated badly. Once he boarded a train from Pretoria to Durban. But when the train reached a station, some white passengers asked the guard to throw out the Indians from the train. And guess who they were? Yes, they were throwing out Indians because of their skin color. They were saying things like, "Get out, Indians. This is a white train." The poor Indians had nowhere to go, so they slept on the platform. But Gandhi was not going to take it. When the train was ready to depart, he sat down on the tracks. This made the train stop. And when the station master came, he asked him, "Are you coming off?" But Gandhi replied, "No, I won't leave until the Indians are allowed to stay in the train." The station master said that this was impossible. To this, Gandhi gave him Tolstoy's book and said, "You should read this book and then decide." The station master did read the book and let the Indians stay in the train. This event changed everything. From that day on, Gandhi decided to fight against injustice with truth. He named this peaceful fighting method Satyagraha, which means firm adherence to truth. Gandhi returned to India in 1914. This time, his motherland needed him. At that time, the British government was squeezing the last drops of blood out of India. They passed a law that forced Indian farmers to grow a special crop in 20% of their land without any payment. This was done to make the Indian farmers poorer and to make the British richer. Of course, this made the farmers very angry. They sent a message to Gandhi to help them. He travelled to Champaran and saw how poor farmers were being treated like animals. Then he led a movement to help them. It was the first mass movement for independence from the British Raj. This movement was not violent, but it was very effective. The British government had to back down and accept their demands. After this, the people of India started calling him the Mahatma, meaning great soul. The news of Mahatma Gandhi and his Satyagraha reached far and wide. Soon, people across the nation were asking him to lead them in their freedom struggle. In 1919, the British government banned 2 basic freedoms, the freedom to meet and the freedom to speak. Even the press was censored, but this did not stop the Mahatma. He started a new movement called non-cooperation. He said that people should not cooperate with the British government in any way. For example, people would not pay taxes or follow the British laws. They would also not serve in the army. When the government tried to arrest him, he said, "Here is my neck. Cut it off if you want to, but I will still not cooperate with you." But the British government had something else in mind. They arrested many of his followers and beat them brutally. This made Gandhi call off the movement, but he promised to continue the fight till India became free. In 1920, he wrote, "Non-cooperation does not mean hatred or violence. It means refusal to take a step backward, refusal to submit to an unjust law." Soon the people of India started following Mahatma Gandhi. He was like a magnet, and people were drawn to him. His followers were called Satyagrahis, meaning those who employ truth as their weapon. They followed 5 principles: truth, non-violence, love, non-possession, and self-discipline. Once a follower asked Gandhi, "We believe in non-violence, but we also have hands to fight and arms to kill with. How can we control these?" To this, Gandhi replied, "You can do it by strengthening your will. If your inner will is strong, then the outer will follow." In 1922, the Mahatma was arrested for the first time. While he was in jail, he wrote to his followers, "I want you to know that the jail is my home now. I have given up the hope of coming out alive from here. My body may get killed, but my spirit will live on." Later, he was released from jail. But again, in 1927, he was imprisoned for 6 years. Even while he was inside the jail, his followers continued their peaceful protests against the British rule. Finally, the British government realized that they could not win over Mahatma Gandhi and his followers, so in 1930 they agreed to release him from prison. But when he came out, he shocked everyone. He announced that he would start the civil disobedience movement. On March 12, 1930, Mahatma Gandhi began his famous Salt March. This was a 390-kilometer walk to the sea. During this journey, he and his followers faced hunger, thirst, heat, and even imprisonment, but none of this could stop them. On April 5, 1930, Gandhi reached the sea. There he picked up some seawater and boiled it to produce salt. This was a powerful protest against the British salt tax, which forced Indians to buy expensive salt from the British and not from their own country. As a result of this march, people across India refused to pay the salt tax, and the British lost millions of pounds. This movement lasted for almost 2 years. During this time, over 2 million people were arrested and jailed. But finally, the British government had to talk to Mahatma Gandhi and his followers about India's independence. Mahatma Gandhi always believed in non-violence. Once someone asked him, "Our neighbor abuses us. Should we tolerate it?" To this, Gandhi replied, "Ahimsa paramo dharma. Ahimsa is the greatest religion. That is, non-violence is the highest principle to live by." He also said, "An eye for an eye makes the world blind." Gandhi never hated his enemies. Instead, he prayed for them. Once he was asked why he did so. He replied, "Hate the sin and not the sinner." During World War II, Mahatma Gandhi helped prisoners and soldiers from both sides, the British and the Germans. He believed that war is not between nations, but between individuals. After the war, the British government agreed to give India its freedom. Finally, on August 15, 1947, India became independent. Millions of Indians celebrated this special day with joy and happiness. But Mahatma Gandhi was sad. Why was he sad? Because this freedom was very costly. Many people had to sacrifice their lives. Moreover, India was divided into 2 separate pieces. This made people leave their homes and become refugees. So instead of celebrating, he worked to bring peace between the 2 countries. He said, "There is no way to peace. Peace is the way." But unfortunately, the Mahatma never saw lasting peace in his lifetime. On January 30, 1948, a man approached him and asked for his autograph. The Mahatma signed the book with the words, "Hey Ram." This meant, "Oh God," or "Oh Lord." Some people say it was a prayer. Others say it was an exclamation of surprise. This was the last thing he ever said, because that man shot him 4 times. When Mahatma Gandhi passed away, millions of people around the world mourned his death. He was a great leader, but more importantly, he was a great human being. The American civil rights activist Martin Luther King Jr. said, "We will either march into the valley of death or Dr. King will be there with me. Which one will it be?" "We will be there with you." The South African President Nelson Mandela said, Mahatma Gandhi showed us that we can change the world for the better. If he could do it in South Africa, I believe we can do it anywhere. Friends, the Mahatma may be gone, but his ideas and teachings will live on forever. He taught us that we can fight against injustice and win. He taught us that we should not hate our enemies. He taught us that love and peace are the most powerful weapons. From a quiet boy in Porbandar to the father of India, Gandhi's life shows us that real strength comes not from violence, but from patience, truth, and peace. If Gandhi could change the world with love, what can you achieve with yours? Write your dream in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring journeys. Thank you for watching. See you next time.